What's up, guys? I'm Anthony.
I'm Matt.
And we're back after a very, very long time with another WWE movie review. I know it's been a very long time.
Very.
Long hiatus. You excited?
Oh, I am so excited.
So we are picking up right back where we left off. Last time was Empire State with The Rock. And this week, as promised, is the reunion with WWE superstar John Cena.
And yes, that is true. I am wearing a Randy Orton shirt.
Blasphemous!
Represent who the real actor is of WWE.
Ooh.
The Rock.
So we'll jump right into this one. You want to start it off? You want me to start it off?
No, yours would be...
the movie starts off with this prison inmate named Dougie. At this point, we don't really know who he is. But it's his last day in prison and he's getting out. And I gotta say, I mean, it was the weirdest choreographed send-off I've ever seen from inmates in a prison. It was his last day, so they were all saying goodbye, and they did a little clap, clap, stomp for him. The entire, wing of the prison celebrating his release. I kept getting flashbacks, maybe of, High School Musical style, when it's their lunchtime and they all start dancing on the fucking tables. And then the guards come in and tase them. But, I mean, it was just the weirdest thing, a choreographed send-off from them. And he gets out of prison only to get a letter that his father died.
Yes, which brings them into the whole thing of him meeting his other two brothers
and
his sister, who none of them seen each other in 10 years.
Yeah, and no one even knew about Dougie.
No.
So we have John Cena, who plays Sam. Amy Smart plays the only sister, Nina. Ethan Embry plays Leo, who owns a bail bond service. Boyd Holbrook plays Dougie, who is a thief. Obviously, that's what ended him up in prison. So the four of them are at his funeral, and they're the only ones in the church. So their father wasn't really a great guy.
No, you could tell by the banter that they had.
Yes.
Oh, wow, it was a great turnout.
Yeah, great turnout. It's going to be hot where he's going, those kind of things. But, so they go for the will, and it turns out that each one of them will get $3 million. Nina's in charge of it, but the only way for the three brothers to get it is to open a family business and run it for 2 years. And then they can get their cut of the money. Which, of course, puts them in an uproar, and they start fighting with each other.
Because, that's 2 years they have to work with each other who haven't seen each other in 10 years.
Yeah, and they really don't like each other. And Dougie just showed up for the first time. But in the meantime, a billionaire named Mr. Wills is kidnapped by some people we don't know. And they want $500 million, right, yes. I believe, for his safe return as a ransom. And it turns out that one of the guys involved in kidnapping him was
Leo's
Edgar Rodriguez, who was someone that Leo gave $250,000 to bail him out, and he never paid it back, and he skipped out on it. So this puts a whole thing of
them working together to go catch Rodriguez
down in Mexico
to go get the money.
Yeah, to go get the $250,000. And I think in the meantime, there was also a $5 million reward for any information regarding wills.
Yes.
So of course it was all connected and intertwined.
So now that they get down in Mexico, they know that Rodriguez knew a stripper. Famous stripper, Angelina.
Angelina, yes.
So they're trying to find out where she is, and what do you know? There's a giant billboard that says, "Hey, I'm here." Right here. I'm here. So they go talk to her, and Dougie is the one who she made the connection with, basically.
Yeah, she took a liking to Dougie.
So she invites him back to her house, and, they sleep together. Why not?
But it turns out that Angelina is actually Edgar's girlfriend. So, of course, he shows up at the same time, right after they're finished, and he, catches them in the act, and pulls a gun out on them.
I'm going to kill this gringo.
And then he gets killed.
And guess what happened? Super Cena.
He shows up with his own gun. He's a cop who was recently suspended. So that's why he has all this vacation time to just go to Mexico. But he ends up killing Rodriguez, not to kill Dougie.
Just right there.
Which now, Leo immediately loses $250,000. So now their thing is, let's get the information for Will so they can get the $5 million.
Yeah. So then what they do is they take a picture from Rodriguez's wallet of a woman who we don't know who she is at the point.
Right.
So they go.
Her name's Teresa.
They go to Rodriguez's mother's house.
Yes.
To find out who she was.
It turns out they after she tells them who they were, they go to her and she says that her and Edgar grew up together, but that's as much as she knows or cares to know about him. She didn't really like him as a person. But I gotta say, as the movie went on, the banter between Sam, Leo, and Dougie really got entertaining. Like the conversation they were had, the jokes they were pulling on each other. It did get entertaining. You know, at first it was kind of annoying because it seemed forced. Like, yeah, okay, we get it. These people hate each other, but it ended up getting really entertaining. So after they go to Teresa and she has no leads for them, they end up going to the local bar because that's where you get all your answers apparently. Where a bunch of men kidnap them and bring them to pretty much like the guy who runs Mexico, I would say.
Yeah.
Verdugo, and he is obviously a criminal, but he runs everything. He knows about everything. And I gotta say, it was pretty friendly, I mean, he just kidnapped them, but then it cuts right to them, like, talking to him on his, like, estate. And John Cena's just like, yeah, well, what information do you have? And he's, like, asking him questions, and he's like, we need your help. And I'm like, this is the friendliest bad guy I've ever fucking seen in
Want
a
a cup of coffee, too, while you're at it?
I mean, it was crazy. But then he ends up sending guys after them anyway, because he said they had 24 hours to leave the country. And then he also rigs their hotel room to blow up. I mean, a bunch of weird shit was going on.
Go to Teresa's house, kill her grandfather. Which has her join the crusade.
But that wasn't Verdugo's men. That was the guys who kidnapped Wills.
Yes.
Yeah, because they were after them too, after they found out Rodriguez was dead. A whole bunch of clusterfuck going on in this movie. After they kill Teresa's grandfather, she ends up meeting up with them and saying pretty much she'll help. So they have to go get horses to go galloping. And I found it odd that, like, was it part of the package that they had to buy? Like, oh, if you rent horses, you have to take the getup. Because they all had, like, the big flowy jacket, the cowboy hat. I mean, the whole getup for everybody as they rode off on these horses. So I guess it was a whole rental service.
I thought that was the end of the movie, too, as they rode off into the sunset.
So they end up going to this, I think it was like a gasoline station. Not a gas station, but somewhere like a gas depot. Where these men would take the gas to where they were holding Wills. That's how they, kept up with all their gear and stuff like that. So they figure out that they have to get on this truck in order to make it there.
Yes. So Sam is hiding in the back of this truck as they're driving along, pulls the blanket off of him, climbs out the side that the passenger is on.
And they cut to the passenger and the driver, and they're singing.
They're singing, the passenger's looking out the window, and there's Sam just climbing through the side of the truck. Passenger doesn't even notice.
That was the thing. I mean, he was looking out the window, so you would figure he saw the side mirror at the reflection of Sam climbing on the side of the truck.
No, Sam just grabbed and threw him out, and the guy didn't even know his friend was gone out of the truck. Was even better. Until
he had a gun in his face telling him to drive. So it gets to the compound, and Teresa, Dougie, and Leo follow behind, and they pretty much stage this like ambush that they're going to take these guys out. Which, it was just funny how, like, okay, so you have Sam who's a cop, it makes sense. Leo's a bail bond guy. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Dougie was a thief. Why did they all know, like, how to shoot guns? They were, like, not only, like, pistols, but, like, rifles. And, I mean, it got nuts. They're chucking grenades everywhere.
They just knew how to use weaponry. John Cena was there.
They end up holding off the guys. The one guy who killed Teresa's grandfather escapes. And Dougie's like, no, I got to go after him. He killed Teresa. It's going to mean something to Teresa. So he goes after him by himself. And ends up killing him.
Gets stabbed in the leg first.
But, like, is he a thief? Or did he kill people too? I mean, like, all these people were totally okay with murdering.
Murder is okay.
It was crazy. And then Verdugo's men show up with Verdugo, who then saves Wills and takes all the credit for saving him.
The rich man just get richer.
So now they don't even get the $5 million for the information they had.
No, they just go back home.
Not yet. First, they have to stop Will's kidnappers because John Cena's like, we're good men, we're good guys.
I'm a cop, I can't leave him.
I'm Super Cena. So they follow them to the canyons where this helicopter is going to pick him up. And John Cena decides, let me just run, jump onto the helicopter. Because I guess he thought this was 12 rounds.
Oh, I thought he was...
He loves jumping on fucking helicopters.
I thought he thought it was Captain America.
Except Captain America's able to hold it down with him. John Cena had to jump to it. And then he, crashes with the main bad guy, who I don't even know if we ever really learned his fucking name. And then Leo shows up to kill him and save the day. And of course, the entire time, their relationship is, like, evolving and changing. And, they go from making jokes with each other to hating each other to really showing their true feelings. Like, Leo explained that he hated Sam for leaving him and Nina with their father and stuff like that. But yeah, overall, at the end of the day, they all got fucked. Because they didn't make the $5 million, they didn't make the $250,000, and then at the very end of the movie, when
You
they're
find
explaining the
out-
whole story to Nina, you find out
There's no money at all.
there's no money at all. It was a big fucking lie. There is no $3 million
you know what
piece
this-
for anybody.
So what was the movie about? Let's get back together as a family.
Yeah, it was a trick to make the brothers come together, and that was just the excuse they used. Which I was pissed for them, and I wasn't even making $3 million.
No.
Like, that shit pissed me off.
The
But
whole
then when
movie
they end up...
they make a private investigator.
They end up deciding,
Investigation.
let's go into a private investigative service, the three of us together. So big happy ending, and the brothers end up having a real bonding moment and their family again.
And then you roll credits and show the shittiest bloopers in the world.
Some of them were okay. Some of them seemed to just pad the runtime of the gag reel. But yeah, that's the end of the movie. So,
and that was it.
What'd you think?
What did I think for the second time watching it? I believe this was...
Nothing has changed.
No.
It's been a long time we've been gone, but nothing's changed. He's still seen every fucking movie we've done.
It's never going to change. I have no time on my hand. I have time on my
You
hands.
have all the time on your hands.
Seeing it a second time, I'm going to change my rating from when I first saw it by myself. Because back then I hated this movie. Seeing it a second time, I paid a little more attention and it wasn't as boring. So I'm going to give it a B.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay. Seeing it for the first time, seeing the coming attractions when the movie came out, I just assumed it was kind of boring. And I think that might have just been the promotions they put out for it. I honestly didn't know there was going to be as much action in this movie as there was, based on what the promos I saw.
You would never...
Right, so I have to say, it actually wasn't that bad of a movie. We've definitely seen worse. And not only from our bad movie reviews, but from WWE movie reviews as well. We've seen worse than this. It was entertaining. There were moments that were genuinely funny.
Yes.
And it wasn't one of those movies where I was like, when is this thing going to end? You know, I mean, there were a couple of times where I was like, wow, there's still that much time left in this movie, but only because on the track it was going, it seemed like they were leading up to the conclusion.
Though. Yeah.
But they didn't. But it wasn't one of those movies where it just dragged out, and I was like, oh, when is this thing going to end, you know? Counting it out every second. It was entertaining. So I will give this movie a B+.
Ooh.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. And I know we've had a streak of, like, movies lately in this
especially
segment,
your reaction at the beginning. Oh, we gotta watch this one now.
Yeah, but I stand corrected. It wasn't that bad of a movie. It was pretty good. All right, guys, so that's our WWE movie review on The Reunion. Tune in next week when we tackle The Interrogation
with WWE superstar Edge.
And Lana.
And
don't forget Lana's in that, too.
That's right.
So we're excited for that one. It's a pretty new movie, you know, so we'll see what they're able to do with that. As always, guys, if you like what we had to say, like this video, comment below and tell us what you thought of this movie or what you think we could do in the future. And as always, subscribe to catch more of these every week. You also have DCTV Podcast and Bad Movie Reviews, which will be making their return. As always, guys, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Matt.
And we'll see you next time. Later.